This artwork breaks my heart. The artist is Augusta Savage. She was born in 1892 on February 29th in Florida. As a young child, she was very artistic. Her family was not happy about that. But in the end, she became an artist. She moved to New York City. And she found it was a pretty tough road. She found a community in Harlem, but as both a woman and a Black person, she found times were tough. It was hard to make ends meet, so she became an arts educator. And she continued to work on her own art. Her sculptures were meant to be sort of monumental, even if they weren't big. And they have sort of a poetic sensibility. Her most famous work, perhaps, is Gamin. And here you see a boy who just looks like he knows something. This is a kid who's going to grow up to be somebody. And an interesting fact is that the model for this sculpture was her nephew, who had been staying with her in New York City because his Florida home had suffered damage from a hurricane. Now, this work is amazing, but is it made out of bronze? So Augusta Savage had very little money to make her art, and so she often used plaster that was painted, which means that only a small fraction of the work she made survived because plaster is just not that durable. So finally, she feels like in the 30s, despite the Depression, she's made it because the people from the New York World's Fair hire her to make this sculpture, the Harp. It's to honor African-American musicians. And the sculpture is an enormous success. Thousands of people see it in 1939 as they go through the World's Fair. So can you go see it today? Nope. It was destroyed because a lot of the things that were made for the World's Fair were meant to be temporary. So it no longer exists, which is why